Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Paint Party live stream. It's so good to be with you again in studio this evening, and I'm so grateful that you've joined me wherever you are joining me from around the world, here in the country, and also on the internet. Wherever you are watching us, you can participate in this live stream via the comments on whatever platform you're watching us on. And this live stream is really laid back, so feel free to comment, ask questions, and engage as we go out the live stream. This live stream is my effort to teach myself to paint here on YouTube primarily. And so I invite you along for the journey, and I'm so glad you've joined me. I hope you have a great I hope you've had a great week and that this week is off to a good start. I'm also excited because this is episode 90 of the Paint Party live stream. We've been doing this for well over a year now. I've been painting for about 2 years, probably two and a half years. And so, we've been doing this for quite a while. So excited to have you on the journey. Let's jump right in this evening. Last week, for those of you that are here, you'll remember that we started painting this painting behind me using a technique that is a monochromatic technique intended to break down the painting process. It's typically done in oil paintings, but I'm doing this also with acrylics, just kind of learning the process. So tonight, what we're going to do with this painting is we are going to take this mountain scene that I have behind me, and we are starting to introduce some hue to it, some different colors. And I worked on this again this week to really try to fine-tune some of the values, the lights and darks. I think I have it pretty close. This is the first time I've done this type of painting completely, and so it is a first attempt, but I think it will help the end result turn out better. So that's what we're going to do this evening. We're just going to fine-tune this, adding in the color, and the goal is to keep the value balance correct as we add color. So we'll add color a little bit at a time, but honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why we're doing this live stream. I'm learning as we go. So that's what we'll do. I will put up on my screen here, if you will bear with me, I will turn over to there we are. I'll turn over my camera here as I rearrange this camera so that you can see the canvas. How's everybody doing? Hope it's going well. I saw a few people pop in. Welcome, welcome. Lola, as always, it's so good to see you. Welcome. Glad to have you again here with us on the live stream. I'm going to plug in my charger so that my phone doesn't suddenly go dead in the middle of the live stream. And then we will get set. So let me put up our reference photo for you. Whoops, that's not the one. That's the one we used last time. Now we're actually going to put up, I'm going to put up the reference photo here for you so that you can see the colors. Last week, all we had was grayscale reference photos, so you can really see how the colors are set, and we will develop as we go. As I'm looking at this, I really want the focal point of this painting to be that light kind of spot in the center. So we're going to have to work on that because we may have to change the color balance a little bit. I may mute some of the colors in the foreground so that it draws the eye in, but we'll see as we go along. So let us step in. Welcome, welcome. Those of you that are joining, whoops, I always do that, don't I? Those of you that are joining here, as I said at the beginning, you're welcome to join us through the comments wherever you're watching and ask questions or engage with the process as we go along. And I will try to answer them as best I can, even though I'm learning as well. All right, let me turn you over to to the canvas there so you can see what we have. You can see what we're going for. You'll notice that I've added some clouds here because I actually want the clouds to lead almost as if this is perhaps a sunset or sunrise, and I want it to lead and point to this spot in the center, which is the greatest point of contrast. You have your dark spot and your lightest spot right there in the center, and that's where I want the eye of the viewer to go. So that's what we are having, that's what we're doing this evening. Hey there, Bob G. So good to have you with us. I am looking forward to our meeting tomorrow evening as well. All right. Let me turn on my light. Okay, that adjusts that. That's not too bad. So let's get started, shall we? All right. Thinking about what we are trying to do, I want to lay in the furthest from us, the furthest information, which is the sky. So let's start laying that in, see if we can get it right. I am not sure, but we will work to do this. And then we'll lay in some clouds. Okay, and I'm using a large brush, so I'm trying to decide how I want to lay this in. I guess I am just going to figure this out as we go. Figure it out as we go. Oop, there is some leftover water on my palette that is diluting the paint. Oh, you know what I did this last weekend too? I forgot to put on my apron to protect my clothing, so I'll wrap that on real quick. And you'll remember that as we head into 2023 this year, I am going to be focusing on art fundamentals, developing my skills, looking at ways that I can develop my skill so that I have a basically dramatic improvement in my skills as I go along. So, okay. I'm putting in sky. I'm kind of going darker and more intense up high, and then as we get closer to the sky or to the horizon, we will get lighter. So I can't decide if I want this to be kind of like a sunset. I think maybe a sunset versus a sunrise. Right. normally if I was using oils, we would transfer the painting or the drawing to the canvas, and then we would bring this in. This almost looks like clouds though, because it's almost looks like clouds because we're just putting the color in, but we'll see. Okay. Now we want the clouds. Hey there, Mom and Dad. So good to have you join. Welcome, welcome. All right. Now, I want to step back a little bit, just take a look. Now what I have to figure out from here is, because we have the clouds, or we have the sky, and it's really easy to flip how your eye is seeing this, because right now it's the only color, so it looks like blue clouds. But now we need to figure out how we put in if I put any color into the clouds, like as a sunset. I don't think I'm going to, because I don't want to, I really, really don't want to distract. I want to guide to here. I don't want to distract, and if I put a lot of color up there, if it's a sunset, that's going to be the focus of the, it may end up being anyway, but we'll see. All right. It is not a new watch. It is not a new watch band, but I did change it out. Lola noticed I have an orange watch band, y'all. I did change it out this week because I went to an event where I was wearing a brown sweater, and I as an artist, thought, oh, having an orange watch band would be very complementary to this brown sweater. So I coordinated it. And because I felt like, you know what, we're maybe halfway through winter, hopefully, maybe not quite halfway, a third of the way through winter, and it's starting to, we had some really, really nice warm days, and now it's going to start getting cold again, so why not? Okay, I'm mixing some white. I think I want a little, maybe, I'm trying to, maybe a little, mixing a little ultramarine blue just to give us some purple tone to the white. Because up against that other blue, it's going to look really, really white. So we got to tone it down. Notice how dark or purplish it looks here on my palette next to the blue. But then when we put it up here, you'll notice how it looks like stark white. So we'll probably have to do some additional tweaking because it just looks really, really white. Yeah, let's darken this even more. So crazy, isn't it? So crazy. So crazy. Hi there. Thanks so much for joining the live stream. It's always good to have fellow artists join. So glad to have you. Feel free to join the conversation, make suggestions, or ask questions. Yeah, we'll have to see how this blends. I don't know that it will, but it's crazy how purple this is on the palette and how we'll just kind of put this across, and then we'll have to go in and do detail work later. But this will give us better coverage. So, yeah. taking the sky out there again because I want to really emphasize this high point of contrast there. So we'll have to see. But it's doing what I want it to do, I believe. Which is, this is popping out at me again. Now that we have the sky in. So that's really what we're trying to do. And I'm going in and putting just a little bit of a lighter tone in. Oops. Just to kind of some of these floaty clouds. Too much white. But this will give us contrast with kind of a shadow. It'll give us a little more 3 dimensions in our clouds. So okay. It's really white because it's really diluted. We'll keep working on this. Every bit of it I'm learning as we go. So we'll go in and carve this up a little more, perhaps. I think it's a little too, we need a little more of this blue. Sky blue. I think it looks a little green now that looks a little too oceany now that it's up on up there. Ew, I don't understand. Looks very much like the ocean, and we don't really want the ocean in the sky. So we're going to come in and try to blue it up a little bit. Oh, that looks even more turquoise. Well, We'll work on it, y'all. Can't be perfect. Yeah, that's really weird. It could just be the color under it. I'm not sure. It's so strange how colors can really mess with your head once they're up on the palette. You're like, what? Or up on the canvas, I mean. Like, that is not the color. But fortunately, you can always change it. Right? Right. Trying to decide still. Thinking about maybe just in the corners here, trying some. There, that's better, I think. Putting some sky in. It's less aggressive. I'm tempted to try yeah, I like this kind of morning sky color. See, you make mistakes and then you fix them and you figure something out and it works. And the layers will be nice because then they will give us texture. And with acrylics, as with oil, we need lots of layers. We'll see. We'll keep playing with it until it works the way we want it to. Thank you so much, Lola. Yeah, I think it's going. We'll tweak this as long as we get our values correct. So now I'm going to step back again, take another picture. Now, isn't it crazy just putting a sky in? Remember that the mountains are and everything else is basically monochromatic. It's a shades of brown. So without doing anything, we're already seeing the different colors in the brown, the reds, the blues, the kind of diffused of the snow, oranges, peach. You see a bunch of different colors, or I guess shades of those variations just by putting contrast around it and sky around it. So let's do this. Let's actually play a little bit with, I want to see what happens if we do a little bit of sunrise or sunset. What happens if we put a little bit of yellow and probably want to do, the orange is going to be really, I totally don't know what's going to happen right now. I'm just going to guess. So we're going to do a little bit of red, tone it down just a little bit, put a little bit of blue into it. This looks like kind of puke, so I don't know. I wonder what happens if we put a little bit, whoops. If we put just a little bit of yellow. Into these clouds. Is it going to look really gross, or is it going to look cool? The thing is, you don't know until you try and realize, oh, that didn't work. So that's why, well, I don't totally hate it. Again, as I said, as long as it doesn't detract from so what I'm doing is putting on the underside of the clouds, I'm putting this color because that's where it's going to reflect from the sun, either at sunset or sunrise. So, and because I want the focal point of the painting to be right here, I'm gonna put the biggest shine pointing there. Then the color going away will be less diffused, which makes sense, or more diffused, which makes sense because it's further from the light source if the light source is over here. And it'll still work with the shadowing that we have. Yeah, I think I'm going to like that. So I'm going to take a little, let's take a little orange. Let's see if we can add some orange in. Okay, let's see. I really hope I don't just keep going down this road and then be like, get to the end and think, oh, should not have done that. But we'll see, won't we? You know, I have a love-hate relationship with sunsets and a limited positive experience with them. So, we put a little bit of blue, then we take some of the red out. So we can What do y'all think? Am I making a tragic mistake, or are we gonna eke it out in the end? This definitely changes the feel of everything, doesn't it? I don't know. I mean, we could take it back to a morning sky, but I need to figure out a way to soften that because it's just like big blob. So I need to come into here and break it up a little bit. But he's very quiet tonight. I may have to really work this. Let me go up here and see if I like. Making kind of a. Purplish color. I had to go back to my middle school days. Red and blue make purple. I think I want to put a hold on this, do a little bit more of this, and then see what, do some of the rocks. I think we're starting to go in the right direction, but I just want to make sure before I go really deep in that direction. It's so funny. I'm noticing as I am going further and further from my reference photos. I mean, this isn't very far at all. It's just changing the sky a little bit. But as I am experimenting with different things, moving things for composition's sake, and trying to do more from imagination, it's amazing how much uncertainty comes up from trying to, do some of this, changing the colors. It's just like, oh no, what am I doing? When we're closer to the earth, as well as closer to the light source, our blue gets more diffused in the sky because we're looking through more atmosphere and we are closer to the light. So I want that to be accurate. This should be kind of the brightest blue. But at the same time, I want it to really, I want this to be the real focus over here. So I don't want it to look like there's a sun coming up over here. That's what I have to be careful of. By brightening the blue behind that rock too much, it throws us off because we're expecting the sun to be setting over there, and we're like, what is going on? So yeah, that's what I'm tweaking right now. There we go. As long as we keep this balance, these should be the darkest spots in the sky. I think we do. I think I'm going to just continue this gradient kind of into purple blues across where the sky and the clouds almost disappear. But I'm going to wait on that and just let that sit for a minute. But it's starting to look cool, isn't it? I think it is a good idea to do the color because it really just enhances the overall impact of the painting. So I'm glad I kind of started messing around with that. I'm going to step back and take some pictures. Now that I feel comfortable with the direction this is going, let's come forward in the painting a little bit. We're about an hour in. It's crazy how quickly this goes. Now, trying to decide how to begin here. Let me just step back and see. Just kind of squinting as I look at this. Okay. I'm just going to mess with this because I don't know. Nope, that's not what I want. It might be, actually. Because by the time we get it up there, let's see. Yeah, it might be. So I want to start drawing. This is actually a blue, but it looks white up here just because it does. So I want to start putting in this line of snow straight back. This will help us draw. Now you can see. I may have to, I think I'm going to switch out a little bit, move things around. Okay, now we're going to bring a little white over, and we're mixing it with a little ultramarine blue, give it a little purplish hint. Okay. Let me continue coming down. Okay. We want to leave plenty, by doing this kind of purple blue, we leave plenty of room for us to highlight So we put a little more blue, purple into it to give us a shadow shade. And eventually we may tone this way down because we don't want this bright white up here. We want it to read as white, but we want the focus right here. So we'll keep messing with this as we go to see how we do that. Let's see. Let's see. Here on the top, we want a little sun. I think the sun's sort of catching some of this. A little pretty gray color because this is way into the shadows back here. But again, some of this won't be visible until people get close, and then those details matter. There we go, little by little. Okay, so we have bright spots there. And we'll really, as we diffuse this color, this will be really purple, so we should have really nice contrast against there. We just have to always be looking at the balance, So that said, I'm going to step back again, kind of look. I like what's happening here. So now we need to begin carving into the rocks. Like, what is going on? Okay, this is all one shadow kind of thing. So now we have to think about, how do we divide up the light and shadow? Okay. Well, let's just keep working. I think I'm going to go next to these light spots and see what I can create. Let's take a little of that. Little of that. Get a dark kind of purple. Little brown. Okay, I'm going to try to come in here and start to lay in these shadows that are in the light, so to speak. The cracks on this rock. Okay. Then on this side, the same color can be the highlights. Isn't that crazy? So we'll kind of highlight in this color, and it's the shadow over here just because of what's around it. But that should give us some cohesion in the painting. And for this color, I am basically looking at the reference photo and the color wheel and my imagination. So this isn't exactly, it will definitely be more colorful than the reference photo. I didn't finish my comment or my thought. But the kind of purple color will do really nicely with the orange and yellow in the sky. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening here. And I'm also kind of sculpting the rock formations because they got kind of covered by the sky and just everything else. So I am kind of re-sculpting that. This, I'll have to come back in with sky. Sky color, but that's okay. Cover some of that up. This one needs to come more, I think right there. Needs to definitely come up to a kind of a point. It comes to kind of a point and then falls away, doesn't it? Kind of like that. Then comes straight back in. Okay. I think it's a little bit better. This one. I'll have to come in. Okay. I want to... Again, just... Hi there. So good to have you pop in. Thanks for popping in. All right, let me take some sky color, and we're going to just go in here and reconfigure some of this. This one is... That feels correct a little bit. There's this. So here we need to come in like this. Definitely take that out. Okay. We'll keep adjusting this, but I like where it's going. All right, we have about 40 minutes. Let's see if we can keep working these hills. What I'm most concerned about, but also happy about, is that I'm keeping the value balance pretty well, meaning that the darks and lights feel balanced still. So that feels good to me. It's a fun challenge, but it really is a challenge to get these nuances of shade correct so that the rock face looks like it's in shadow or in light, but you don't take the whole thing out of balance with the rest of the painting. So yeah, it's fun, but it's definitely a challenge. But it really is breaking down Because basically what we did last week essentially is we created a big, almost like when you were a kid and you would do paint by numbers, we created a template essentially that we could use to paint these various different rock faces. So now we're gonna see if this will work just by, because the purple is a fairly warm, and I don't know that I want to add any red or red to it, but maybe for a little peachy color, but we'll see. Because we want, again, this to be the focal point. May have lightened it up too much, but we can always go adjust it. I don't think we did. Yeah, because see, these are similar values in the reference, but I don't think we want to brighten that up because we don't want to like destroy what's happening over here. Let's see if we can. I think that's even. Y'all, I am really kind of happy with how this is coming out. What I haven't said up till now is that a lot of this is practice and experimentation for future paintings, because I want to do paintings, and I think I have said this, but I want to do paintings of our canyons around here, and I want to figure out how to do it well so that I can do it justice, because I love the canyons around here. But yeah, I have to try some things because I've done a few paintings of the canyon, but I want to be able to do so it feels, so I can capture kind of the, I don't want to, I'm using the word epic feel of the canyon. And yeah, so I want to figure out how to do that, whether it's contrast or color, color choices, or the actual composition. So all of this, in a way, is preparation to be able to do that at some point. Anywho, so yeah, this is all, but I think this painting can definitely stand on its own. At least so far, I'm really liking it. And I do really think that process that we did last week was actually helpful. Feels like it was. All right, I'm going to step back for a minute. because I feel like I'm losing a little bit of the balance now because we've brightened this up so much that then this looks, this all looks the same to me as far as value. There's no contrast in the value. So I need to brighten that up and bring this down a little bit, the snow meaning. Because I really want everything to lead the eye into there. I think there is a little bit of this that can correct, just correcting the drawing a little bit. We really need contrast against this then. And the back. So I need to bring that value up a little bit still without, and still keep it in balance. Oh. What are we going to do? We're going to maybe maybe a little greenish color. I am trying to bring up the chroma, meaning the saturation, without losing color. So I'm trying to mix yellow and blue to give us a green hue that will be lighter. Because we need this that's in the shadows to really still be in the shadows, but a lighter value so that this stands out in front of it. Just a tad. Because as soon as we add white to anything, it's going to give us highlights. So we don't want to use it anywhere but in the shadow. If we're doing that, we want it to read as yes, that's what we meant to do basically. Okay, where are we? Yeah, by cooling it down, making this green instead of red, notice what a difference that makes in the... I mean, we definitely are in the shadows, but then we can brighten it up a little bit and stay in the shadows, but we can give us highlights in the shadows still. We have to be careful because now it looks like it's in the sun, which it kind of is, but we want muted. So we're going to come back in here and do we just keep playing with these tones until we get it as correct as possible. And the more I do this, the more I get skilled at it. Oh, I remember when I couldn't mix anything. No greens, no nothing. But this is looking so much cooler than it did a few minutes ago. We're going to get so much more detail and layers. That's what's going to make it look really cool. Every little shade and adjustment makes a difference because it gives us more ways the light interacts with the rock face, and it's a lot of fun figuring this stuff out. Bob G, it is worth a whole heck of a lot, so I certainly appreciate you chiming in. And I'm super excited to keep kind of just pushing this and exploring. Need to add a little yellow tone that's not needs to be almost an orange yellow that's not green. So I think I need a yeah, it's starting to have the feel I want, which is what I'm really going for, is can I create the feel of really when I'm out driving across Wyoming or Montana and you come across this type of scene, can I get that feeling of, you know, that takes your breath away kind of feeling? This is really diffused, so it needs to be that's what I'm going for. All right, let's come in here, do some warm kind of colors. That's gonna bring it too far forward. So we need a little orange to take the yellow. Wait, we need a little, oh no, we need a little violet to take the yellow down. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Cool it down just a little bit. We put a little more blue and red in it. A little more yellow. So some white. I like how that is. Then if we tone this down, that really stands out, doesn't it? Especially if we bring in this and it's pointing right there. I like it a lot, y'all. I like it a lot. Looks very Rocky. Not Rocky Balboa, but Rocky like mountainous. Okay, me with my stupid dad jokes. I think this is going to be a painting that is multiple. Well, let me just ask you all. We got some color put in. We're going in the right direction. Do we bring this back? Add multicolored kites flying over. I could. However, The kites would have to be large enough to see, and I could do hang gliders maybe, but I really want the mountains to be the focus. So we'll probably hold the kites for another painting. So my question to you all is, do I bring this back again for an unprecedented third live stream next week? Or do I just finish this in my studio time? I'm happy to go on to another painting if you'd like to see something else, but I'm also absolutely willing, especially for those of you that chime in or dial in every week. Dial in like I'm dialing a telephone. Those of you that join us every week on the internets, I'm happy to go on to another painting, or I'm happy to bring this one back. What say you? Either way, I will continue working on this because I really want to push myself clear to the end of my limits. I think when I get this done, this will be one of the most impressive paintings that I've done, just because the subject is correct and we laid the foundation. If you remember, we had the grid last week. You can still see grid lines in here a little bit, but that'll all be covered eventually. I can come back and do whatever you would like. What do y'all think? There looks like there are a few of you out there if you'd like to chime in. Otherwise, I will make an executive decision sometime this week whether I bring this one back. Hot air balloons. Yeah, I could do hot air balloons would be a really cool subject on its own, or a composition, a subject matter on its own to do. I'll have to look in my reference photo group on Facebook to see if there are. I'm sure somebody has posted photos of hot air balloons that I could borrow and use, but yeah, hot air balloons might work. But I think I want to do a separate painting just because they are such a unique I'm yawning now, can you tell? It's getting late. They are a unique subject. All right, I am going to wrap this up because we're 5 minutes out and I don't want to keep diving and overpaint this in the last 5 minutes. So I'm gonna bring you back here front and center as I flip my camera around to say a good night to you all. Feel free in the last few minutes, if you have a strong opinion one way or another about bringing this painting back, I am happy to do that. Otherwise, I will just work on it in my studio time and post it to Instagram when it is done, so you can see the final project. Bob G says, another week. Yes, another week. Okay. We will definitely consider that, and I may work on it a little bit because I think there's probably a couple more sessions in it, just because I want it to really, again, be one of the best ones I've done. So this is where we are tonight. You can see when it's not under the light kind of what I'm going for. I do still need to tone this down a little bit and maybe darken some of the sky here, lay in the rest of the sky so that this is what I'm going for. If you kind of just block out this part of the painting, that's what I want. Actually, let me do that because that's kind of cool. Okay, this is what I want. Oh, it's casting a shadow. So Nope, that's not good. Maybe something thinner. Whoops. That's kind of what I want the eye to see. I want the eye drawn right into the center of the painting, and we're getting there. It's the highest contrast between light and dark once I correct this. And it's not really a correction, it's just a recalibration because we laid this in first, and then really what I should have done is started probably here and got this correct and then come out here, but live and learn. Again, this is the first time, so it's a lot of fun. All right, I will say good night to you all. I appreciate you, as always, joining me for the 90th Paint Party live stream. Next week will be 91. Episode 91, and we are on track to 100. I'll have to see what we do for 100. Maybe I'll have to have a on-screen celebration of some sort. But yeah, this was episode 90, and we are headed into the new year, definitely now. So I will look forward to seeing you all next Monday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Until then, you can connect with me, of course, on YouTube, but also on Instagram at Stephen E. Rice. And you can follow the progress photos for my paintings there on Instagram. And Instagram is also where I kind of post more stories to Instagram stories where I post a little more personal behind the scenes type things. So occasionally when I'm hiking or something, you'll get some of that content. If that's at all interesting to you, you can definitely join me there. And we can hang out a little more on Instagram. All right, everyone have a good evening and a great week. And I will see you next week on the Paint Party live stream. Take care.